What is regionalism? Regionalism is a political ideology that focuses on the normative interests of a region or a group of regions. Its applications are present in political divisions, cultural boundaries, linguistic regions, and religious geography. Regionalists aim at increasing their political power and influence to the people part of their region. Their demands occur in strong forms such as sovereignty, separatism, independence, as well as moderate campaigns for greater autonomy. For instance, states' rights and decentralization. An example of a group that presents regionalism is the Association of the Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN. It is a regional grouping that consists of 10 countries: Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. They promote economic, political, and security cooperation among its members. But how did the ASEAN become what it is today? In 1954, the US established the Southeast Asia Treaty Organization, or SEATO, with France, Great Britain, New Zealand, Australia, Pakistan, Thailand, and the Philippines in order to prevent communism from emerging in the regions. But SEATO lacked independence in obtaining intelligence and were unable to agree on military forces and security matters, causing the organization to disband in 1977. The next two attempts to establish order were made exclusively by the Southeast Asian countries. In 1961, Malaya, Thailand, and the Philippines founded the Association of Southeast Asia. But the association became ineffective due to the conflicting preferences of the regions, with significant institutional structures and territorial disputes between the countries. ASEAN was established on August 8, 1967 in Bangkok, Thailand, at the height of the Vietnam War. In the signing of the ASEAN Declaration in Bangkok, the founding fathers of the ASEAN included its 5 original members. By the early 80s and the late 90s, other Southeast Asian nations have joined the ASEAN memberships. These countries were Brunei, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, and Cambodia. Since then, the 10 Southeast Asian nations have made up the member states of the ASEAN. By founding the ASEAN, the founding fathers hoped to accomplish 3 main objectives. 1. To reduce tensions among themselves. 2. To promote domestic socio-economic development in order for them to easily tackle internal and/or external communist challenges. And 3rd, to reduce regional military influence of external actors. Overall, as set out in the ASEAN Declaration, the primary purpose and goal of the ASEAN is to accelerate economic, social, and cultural development through the effective collaboration of the Southeast Asian community in order to strengthen mutual assistance and harmonious stability that upholds ASEAN's fundamental principles, which are 1. Mutual respect for independence, sovereignty, equality, territorial integrity, and national identity of all nations. 2. For every state to have the right to lead its nation free from external interference. 3. Non-interference in the internal affairs of one another. 4. Settlement of differences through a peaceful manner. 5. Refraining from the use of force or threat. And 6. Effective cooperation among themselves.
For security, the ASEAN leaders established the ASEAN Political Security Community, or APSC, that aims to ensure that the members live at peace with one another and the world in a just, democratic, and harmonious environment. The members pledge to settle intra-regional differences peacefully and regard their security as essentially linked to one another and bound by geographic location, common vision, and objectives, such as political development, shaping and sharing of norms, conflict prevention and resolution, post-conflict peace building, and implementing mechanisms. With strong interconnections among political, economic, and social realities, the ASC acknowledges the principle of comprehensive security and addresses the broad political, economic, social, and cultural aspects of building an ASEAN community. It is also acknowledged that political and social stability, economic prosperity, and poverty alleviation would create strong foundation for a sustained ASC. For the political aspect, ASEAN implemented the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation, or TAC, in order to have mutual respect for the sovereignty, equality, territorial, and national identity of all nations. With that said, ASEAN aims to accelerate the economic growth to strengthen the foundation of Southeast Asian nations, to promote regional peace and stability, to provide assistance to each other through training and research facilities, and to maintain close and beneficial cooperation with international and regional organizations with similar aims and purposes. Lastly, for the economic aspect, the ASEAN seeks to accelerate economic growth and to create a collaboration and assistance among regions to meet the common interests in the economic field and strengthen the foundations of a prosperous and peaceful community. Its members have attempted to establish an economic union to take advantage of economies in a regional scale. The ASEAN Economic Community, or AEC, was created to promote greater economic cooperation and integration. It envisions ASEAN as a single market and production base that is cohesive, competitive, dynamic, and integrated with a global economy and people-oriented community.
The concept of liberalization also plays a vital role in understanding regionalism and its correlation to the foundation of the ASEAN. Liberalization is the removal or loosening of restrictions. For example, in liberalizing education systems, it could decrease the cost of overseas education and it may allow foreign universities to open campuses for the members of ASEAN, which could be beneficial by providing a stronger international education in the system. It may also raise the quality of education, improve innovation, and train good researchers with liberalization in the education system. Any member will have more opportunities in studying within the countries of the ASEAN. The standards of academic courses can also be standardized to meet the possible employment opportunities in the ASEAN region. For example, in the Philippines, the basic and secondary education have already been adjusted to the K-12 program in keeping with the ASEAN academic calendar. With liberalization in education, there will also be varied opportunities in terms of employment for the members of the ASEAN.
With the Philippines as the host for this year's 2017 ASEAN Summits with the theme Partnering for Change, Engaging the World, with President Rodrigo Duterte as chairman. He stated that we will highlight ASEAN as a model of regionalism and a global player, with the interest of the people at its core. It is a good opportunity to not just tackle the usual political, security, and economic issues of the region, but also prioritize its own interests, such as 1. A people-oriented and people-centered. The health and nutrition of the ASEAN citizens will be prioritized, as well as the social protection of women, the elderly, and the disabled. The rights of our migrant workers and how we can ensure that they will not be exploited will be focused on as well. 2. Peace and stability. All the ASEAN members work together to keep the peace to stop the widespread of illegal drugs and the spread of terrorism. 3. Maritime security and cooperation. With this, our seas will be protected. Fishermen and individuals who use these waters should be able to enjoy their rights without compromising their security. Shipping and seaborne trade is important in our region, and because of that, workshops will need to be conducted to strengthen the maritime security and cooperation. 4. Inclusive. Innovation-led growth means promoting entrepreneurship. It will help employees become business owners, while our businessmen are encouraged to go digital in order to compete globally. 5. Resilient ASEAN. Natural calamities such as storms and droughts cannot be avoided, but if risk management programs are improved, ASEAN will be a disaster resilient and adaptable to climate change. 6. ASEAN, a model of regionalism, a global player. ASEAN countries are stronger together. The unity gives better influence in addressing critical issues that serve the world. With the Philippines as the host, the country will gain economically from a stronger ASEAN economy. It will expand its influence not only in the region but beyond. The country also benefits in the area of security, combating drugs, terrorism, and violent extremism as a result of improved cooperation among ASEAN countries.
The socio-cultural aspect of the Southeast Asian communities also plays a vital role in the foundations of the ASEAN. It is characterized as being inclusive, sustainable, resilient, and dynamic. These elements aid the ASEAN to promote equitable access for people and the protection of human rights, to ensure social development and a sustainable environment that meet the needs of the people, to adapt to challenges, and to strengthen the ability to be innovative and a proactive member of the ASEAN community. Through regionalism, the regional identity of ASEAN is increased and they are more economically and politically integrated as a community. It is one of the most important aspects in international relations today as it helps in avoiding situations wherein the sovereignty of states will be challenged. With ASEAN being stronger together, regionalism helps these countries in building international relations to advance security, economic, and political interests. The regional identity as ASEAN will consequently allow the members to compete in the global arena with their leverage as one strong united region.